Hello, guys. So, I've been wanting to make mini podcast episodes on here from home to answer a lot of the questions that I get on TikTok that honestly I don't really want to make 10-minute videos on TikTok or videos really longer than like 3 or 4 minutes. So, I figured this would be a good place to come where maybe the conversation's not like an hour-long conversation, but it's not a 3-minute long conversation either. So, I've been really wanting to make a video about what I'm going to talk about today, and I really had a hard time for a couple of weeks because I wanted to address it the right way. Like, I never ever want to steer people wrong. I always want to steer people in the right direction and encourage them to make the best decision for themselves. But we have to have like a heart to heart, a big sister conversation today that's going to be, it's going to have some tough love in it for sure. But it's necessary. So to give you guys some background context of where this video is coming from, I made a video on TikTok. I have my phone with me. So I made this video probably a couple weeks ago, and it has like, I think like over 2 million views now. And it's a great video, and it's about pretty much if you keep assuming the worst of your partner, if you keep, fearing that they're going to cheat on you or they're going to leave you or they're doing something behind your back. And the video is about, which is not just for relationship anxiety either. Like, it's a video that can really be used with any kind of anxiety or OCD like thinking. But it was about putting your thoughts on trial and kind of presenting yourself with the facts here, right? Like, and a lot of the times the video I made was referring to people in like their first healthy relationships, or maybe they came from a string of unhealthy ones in the past and they have a very hard time trusting that they're with a good person. So they, they're being hyper vigilant and they're scared of this or scared of that, but the facts don't the facts don't confirm the fears, right? So like, they're with somebody who's very stable, very consistent, very respectful, has never given them a reason to not trust them. So this video is filled with like a ton of very mixed comments, and a majority of them were the people that it's like, I hate to say this, but it's like, if you get it, you get it. And they were the kind of people that are like, oh, I did this once before, and like, I did this in my last relationship, or I did this with my boyfriend now, where I was always assuming the worst, and I was so wrong for that. Like, it was my fears. It was not the facts that were present. It was my fears that were present. And then you have like your small majority of people who are like, I knew something, like there weren't facts, but I knew something and my gut was telling me. And like, I'm not saying that that doesn't happen, that that's not true, right? But the other part of the comments that I got, or not even a large majority, but honestly enough to like upset me and like make me nervous. And I'm going to read you some of them, but were comments of a couple men, but mostly women, saying things like, I'm gonna read you some. So we're referring to the facts, right? We were talking about the facts that are present in the relationship. And so many, like an overwhelming amount of these comments were women saying like, well, I have the facts and they're not good ones. He's cheating on me. I caught him cheating on me. Another one was, things keep getting worse. I have facts, but the facts keep getting worse. Another one is, what happens if the facts are not good things? I have the facts, but they're not good things that are happening right now in my relationship. Somebody else said, and I don't mean to laugh because it's not funny, but what if we see the negative evidence, but we choose not to leave? So if there's disrespect and there's bad things happening in the relationship, and they're referring to like, well, what if I see it, but I'm just choosing to stay, I'm choosing not to leave. Somebody else wrote, I have evidence. Let's see, I have the evidence. Somebody wrote, yeah, but what if they lied and cheated on you before and they keep doing it? And somebody else said, what if the verdict is not a good one and they are not good to you at all? So these comments went on and on. Like there seriously was a bunch of them. And I felt compelled to make this video because I think that is happening way too often. And what I'm referring to is, and I'm speaking to everybody, but it's more common in women, and it's overstaying your welcome in a relationship. And I don't mean overstaying your welcome as in like, you're staying too long when someone doesn't want to be with you. I mean that you're overstaying in a place where you are not being treated properly and you are not being respected, and you know that you're not. Like, that's the troubling part for me, is that so many people are like, well, I caught him cheating, I caught him texting his ex, or I see him doing this all the time, or he lies to me all the time, and they're choosing to say. So this is what I want to talk about today. That kind of behavior, first of all, comes down to a lack of self-worth and a lack of self-value. And I'm not taking a dig on anybody. Like, that's a very common thing. It's honestly the root of a lot of painful breakups. When we go through breakups and they end up the pain end up lasting like for years. A lot of the times it has nothing to do with your ex. It has everything to do with the way that you view yourself and what you made this breakup mean about you. A lot of people that I work with, relationship anxiety, like they have fears in relationships, and they think that they're not good enough, or they think that their partner's not good enough. It all comes back to the relationship that they have with themselves. But the specific scenario that I'm talking about today is staying somewhere that you're being mistreated. And honestly, like, I see it a lot with abuse as well, like blatant emotional, physical abuse where people choose to stay. And I don't really want to speak too much on that topic today because I don't have experience with that. I don't have experience with being with somebody where I am scared to leave because of physical abuse. And the best I can say about that is leave immediately. You don't ever wait for that person to change. You don't ever wait for that verdict to change. You don't ever wait for evidence for that kind of thing to change. And when I post this video, I'll leave some resources down in the description of places that you can call, hotlines you can call, places that you can reach out for help if you are in a dangerous situation. So it's not that I don't care to speak about that. I just don't feel that it's very responsible that I speak on that right now because I don't have experience with that. But anyway, coming back to things like cheating and things like just blatant disrespect. And when I have people log into session with me and they tell me that they're experiencing these things in their relationship, or they experience it in a relationship that just ended, and they're so quick to say he was such a piece of shit, he was so this, he was so that, and why is he doing this to me, right? We're more so talking about staying in a place that like is not good at the moment. And you guys will turn around and say, well, why is he treating me this way? Why is he cheating on me? And you make it mean something about you, about your body, about your appearance, about your worth, your personality. Like, why is he doing this to me? Why is he cheating on me? Why is he entertaining other women? Why? And my question for you, and this is where the tough love comes in, and I mean this with all the love of my heart, because this is a very important question for you to ask. And the answer to this question is way more important than the other questions that you're asking right now. And that is, why are you still here? Why are you still in this relationship? Why are you still with this person that is blatantly disrespecting you, not prioritizing you, putting you through the ringer, humiliating you, embarrassing you? Why are you still here? And I know it sounds like a rhetorical question, but it's not. The answer to that question is very important, and this is what I'm talking about when it comes back to self-worth and self-value. Is the answers that you don't need the answers of why is he doing this to me? Why that honestly is none of your business. Why he or she is doing this has nothing to do with you, and it has everything to do with who they are as a person, right? The question that you need to answer is, why am I here? What is it that I feel about myself? Like, how much do I not love myself and care about myself and value myself that I'm still here putting up with this and losing sleep over this and hurting over this person that has shown me nothing but disrespect and pain and low value? Why are you still here? So I want to give like love and empathy in this conversation, but sometimes I think that like that's not really what you need right now. You need to get very stern with yourself at the moment and look in the mirror and ask yourself again for the third time, why am I putting up with this? Why am I accepting this? Why am I here? Like I said before, like losing sleep over this and questioning my worth over this person's actions. So enough of trying to figure out why they're doing what they're doing and who they're doing it with and what that girl or guy has that you don't have. Like that the answers to those questions are completely irrelevant. Like they're useless. The answers that you need is, again, Why am I still here putting up with this? So I don't really want to I'm not trying to shit on anybody or make anybody feel stupid for staying, because your answer to why am I staying is not, it's not because I'm dumb. It's not because I'm weak. It's not because that's not what I'm trying to get at with you. You need to get so clear on the ways that you value yourself and feel about yourself and prioritize yourself. And why am I staying? Where is this coming from? Where was I taught that this behavior is acceptable or excusable? And if it's not, where was I taught that it deserves a second, third, fourth, fifth chance? Where was I taught that? And making the decision to retire that mindset, that wherever you were taught that, one, that was okay, two, it's excusable, or three, that's what love is. Because that's not what love is. Love is not, you don't have to mold somebody and change somebody in order for things to work. You don't have to abandon your morals for things to work. You don't have to make yourself uncomfortable and accept disrespect for things to work. That's not what love is. So it's getting curious on, again, where did this come from? Where was I shown this, or where was I taught this? And it's not to blame anybody, again, it's just to take accountability of where is this coming from? And then once you're aware of where it's coming from, honestly, I'll make a general blanket statement right now. It's making the decision to leave. And it's not easy. It's not going to be easy. Just because you're going to ask yourself these questions and find out as to why you're staying and where this ever was okay, it's not going to be a light bulb moment where you're going to be oh, I was taught that from this or from that person, and that's the way I was raised, or that's what okay, I can leave now. It's going to be easy. It's not going to be easy, because something tells me that if you are staying in this relationship and you're putting up with this kind of behavior, you do lack self-worth and value, and maybe you have a fear of being alone, and maybe you don't want to be on your own, and you don't want to leave this person because you don't think that you deserve better, or you don't think that it gets better for you, or you're bargaining all the good sides of them and all the good parts of them, and maybe this is just an isolated event, or maybe they're just going through something, and you're really compromising a lot in your head. So that's why I'm saying that it's not going to be easy, because this is probably A, feeding some kind of fear, or B, it's your comfort. And just because something's comfortable doesn't mean that it's good. It doesn't mean that it's okay. So why I'm even saying that is because a lot of the times when something feels comfortable, we think it means because it's a right fit, or it's how things should be, or it's the right person, or that's not what that means. There was I forget when it was, and I'd don't completely quote me on this because I don't remember the exact experiment. I don't remember the exact year or whatever it was that was done, but there was this story. I remember, I think it was in some kind of psychology story in a textbook or something, but it was that this child, this baby, was either neglected or abused by his mother, and horrifically and terribly. And again, please excuse me, I don't know if this is the exact story, but this is along the lines of what it was. And I think she ended up getting arrested for said abuse. And the cops showed up at the house, and they took the baby away, and they took the mother away. And the baby was, whether it was a baby or a toddler, whatever it was hysterically crying for the mother. They wanted their mother. And they were so confused as to why does this child or want to get close or back to this thing that continuously hurts them and abuses them and puts them close to death or in harm's way. And I'm sure you can argue that it's a mother-child relationship, but the argument there was that it's because it's all it knew, and it's what it was comfortable with, and it's what its safety was. And again, those words don't always mean happy and good and positive. It's just what they know, right? So this is so common that I see this in relationships where people are leaving abuse, and they are leaving cheating, and they are leaving manipulation and narcissistic behavior, and when they leave, there's a sense of relief, but they're why am I so upset over this? Why do I miss them so much? Why is it not so easy for me to walk away from this? It was 15, 20, 10 years of this. I'm free now. Why am I so sad? Why do I miss them so much? Why do I wish things were different? And what I say to them in those moments is because that's all you knew for so long. you were comfortable there. Like it's not just this light bulb moment of like, oh, I'm being treated bad and I'm allowing it to happen because I think low of myself and I need to work on my security, my self-security and my confidence. That's why. And it's not gonna work. It's not gonna feel like that. It's not gonna be like that. Like, it really is going to be a moment of ripping the Band-Aid off and making at least the one single promise to yourself of, I'm going to leave and I'm not going to look back. And no matter what happens, no matter what comes up, no matter what apologies come up, no matter how hard it is, no matter how badly I want to go back, no matter how much they start promising me, or no matter what I start to miss about them, like, it's making just that one firm promise. If I'm going to leave and I'm never going to look back, and sticking to that. Like, it's allowing whatever else shows up, whatever other struggle shows up, no matter how much they try to crawl back and they beg and they're doing this and they're doing that and they're trying, like, it's making that one decision of, I know this is hard and I know I want to cave and I know I want to go back, but it's making that one promise to yourself, because I'm sure if you're in this kind of relationship, you have already broken thousands of promises to yourself. So your step forward is making this one promise. If I'm gonna leave and I'm not gonna look back, no matter what happens. Because you know why? Because you deserve so much more than somebody like going back to square one, humiliating you, embarrassing you, intentionally hurting you, disrespecting you, keeping you up at night, putting you in harm's way, neglecting you, not prioritizing you. You deserve so much more than that. And please take it from me. Please take it from me. There's not one, there's not two, there's not 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are hundreds, if not thousands, if not millions of people in this world that would never dream of putting you through what this person is putting you through. Never. They couldn't even fathom it. They would never even think of it. Not on their worst day, they wouldn't even chance it. And I promise you, I don't care who you are, where you come from, what you look like, I don't care. I promise you that. And there's not a lot that I can guarantee. There's not a lot that I can promise. But that much I can promise you, and trust me, I know what it feels like. I had a fear for the first 26 years of my life of being alone. Terrified. I would have overstayed in any relationship if it meant not being alone. I was so scared of being alone. I was so scared of being by myself. I was so scared of what it would mean about me. I was so scared that I would never find anybody. I had all these very irrational fears, but real fears. And the best decision I ever made was leaving a relationship that I just overstayed the duration of the relationship. Not even overstayed my welcome, just overstayed somewhere for very long. That was just so clearly not for me. It was not for me. The writing was on the wall. Everybody saw it but me. It was so obvious. And it was so hard to leave because I was so scared of, like, well, it's not great, but it's not bad. So, like, shouldn't I be okay with that? And what if I never find great? What if I never find amazing? What if I never find someone that actually really gets me and really loves me and really accepts me? And so this isn't terrible. So, like, I think I should be grateful for this. And I had that going in my head for so long. And had I not left that relationship, I would have never, I hope I don't get emotional right now. I would have never found the person that I'm with now, that I could never imagine a day of my life being without. That I could never imagine somebody loving me more and better than this person does now. I could never imagine someone getting me more than this person does now, and appreciating me more and valuing me and seeing me for who I really am, had I not left that lukewarm relationship. So it's not just it's not just about disrespect and humiliation. Sometimes it's about just staying somewhere that, like, you keep putting the shoe on every morning that just doesn't fit anymore. And you keep putting it on, and you know it doesn't fit anymore, and it's uncomfortable, and you don't even like it anymore. And it's like, but you keep putting it on, because it's routine. It's what you're comfortable with, even though it's not actually that comfortable. It's what you're comfortable with. It's all you know. Life is way too short to settle for anything less than, not even anything less than perfect. Life is too short to settle for anything less than alignment of somebody that gets you. And and appreciates you and wants to grow with you and values you and listens to you when you talk and cares about what you have to say. And it's way too short. It's way too short. And like I said, going back to before, that there's not many things in my work that I do, my podcast, my TikTok, that I can guarantee you. But I'm going to say it again because I know you need to hear it again. I can guarantee you, I promise you, that there are at the very least thousands of people in this world waiting to give you and wanting to give you what it is that you are looking for so badly. So if you are in one of those relationships right now or one of those situations right now, and you know, and I don't mean to trigger any of like my relationship anxiety people right now who are probably thinking like, oh my God, like, am I with the right person? Is it the right one? Like, I'm not talking to you guys right now. I'm talking more to the people that know. They know, and they're not questioning it. They're not having anxiety and OCD. Well, maybe they're having anxiety over it, but they're not with a healthy, safe person that you guys are with. These are the people that know that, as I'm saying it, they know that I'm like looking into their soul right now. They know that I'm talking to them. I promise you, it'll be the best decision, the best move that you ever make in your life. Because I want to give you another little fact. When you remain in a relationship that is not for you any longer, in alignment with you, whether it's out of alignment or it's just someone that just is straight up treating you like shit, you don't even realize the other areas of your life that you are blocking. And I could be wrong, but I'm going to take a swing here that if you are in a relationship right now, or you are fairly miserable or unhappy or being mistreated or whatever it is, I'm going to take a wild guess here that there are probably many other areas of your life at the moment that feel similar, whether it's equally unfulfilling or equally upsetting or equally out of alignment. Whether it's your job, it's your friendships, it's your home, it's your whatever it is, it's your relationship with yourself, it's relationship with God. I'm gonna guess that your bad relationship at the moment or your misaligned relationship at the moment is not the only thing in your life that is out of alignment or not feeling good. And until you leave that relationship, and this is a very bold statement, but I'm gonna say it anyway, until you leave that relationship, those things are not gonna fall into alignment. Those things are not gonna work out. I made a video on this a couple months ago, and it was the idea that, or the concept that you never hear when people are struggling through addiction, in abusive relationships, miserable at their jobs. You never hear during those times that like, oh, like things just randomly started working out for me, or I randomly got this job offer, or I randomly met this amazing person, or I randomly made this much money, or like closed this deal, or found this apartment, or found that. Like, you never hear of that while they're in those situations. You always hear that things randomly started to work out for them as soon as they left those situations, as soon as they got sober, as soon as they left that relationship, as soon as they quit that job. And my theory behind that is that when they were in those bad places, they had like this repellent around them, that they were not able to bring anything positive into their lives during that time, because they were just in this low vibrating place, honestly. And relationships in general are like a major part of our lives. They're not a small part. They're the contents of our relationship, honestly, like I think make up the contents of our life. That like if you're miserable in your relationship, you're not going to be living a very happy life. And if your relationship is flourishing and going well and you're super happy and you're super positive, I'm sure other areas of your life are following the similar suit. So if you notice that your life is just feeling dull and gray and lifeless, and you feel lifeless, and you know that you are in this kind of relationship, I'm telling you right now, it's the best move you'll ever make. I remember before I left that last relationship feeling the oldest that I ever felt in my life. I remember just feeling like my best days were behind me, and like life was kind of just going like this. Like there was no way it was going to get better. There was no way it, like, I kind of started to accept it, that it's so weird to say, I was like 26 or 27 at the time, and thinking like, I guess I'm just getting older. Like, I guess this is just like the best days are behind me. Like, not 21 anymore. I'm not 16 anymore. I'm not 20 years old. Like, all right, I guess it's just like, that's just what happens. And now I feel and honestly, sometimes I feel like I even look the youngest that I've ever looked in my life. Well, that sounds silly. Not the youngest I've ever looked in my life. Younger than I looked during that period of time, which I was actually younger then. I feel the youngest I've ever felt in my life. I feel more full of life. I feel happier. I feel more driven. I feel more motivated. Health-wise, I feel younger. I feel more energized. I feel more positive. I look back at that version of myself and it was like a different life. Like, I don't even recognize her, and I send that version of myself a lot of love and compassion and whatnot, but we're not the same person. Like, it literally is like a different life for me. And I'm not saying that like it was like the person's fault that I was with. Honestly, this is kind of the point of this conversation, is that it was actually my fault for staying. I didn't have anyone to blame at that point. And I say that with tough love to the clients that I have that are like, well, why this or why that? And I'm like, you only have yourself to blame at this point for your misery if you choose to stay. And I'm saying that to you as well. And I really mean that with all the love of my heart, but I know that you need to hear it, that if you are in one of these relationships and you know what's going on, whether it's actual like disrespect going on or it's just actual misalignment happening, and you know, you have no one to blame but yourself. And that's I know that sounds unfortunate, but this is my favorite thing to say to people, and I say this even like my relationship anxiety people, that the good news is that when you're the problem, you're also the solution. So if you're the reason why you're miserable right now, and you're the reason why you're staying in this is the reason why you're miserable, the great news is you're the solution. And when you make that decision to put yourself first and prioritize yourself and start to see all that you're worth and all that's out there and how big this world really is, and how much there is out there for you, and how much you can give to this world and you can give to somebody else, and how much more you can be. When you figure that out and you finally leave one day, you'll know, you will come back to this. And I hope that you actually do come back to me if this inspires you or encourages you. And I would love to hear like your journey or where you end up, or if you end up leaving one of these relationships. But you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when you get there. And maybe like me, you'll want to spread that to other people as well. But unfortunately, and fortunately, because like I said, if you're the problem, you're also the solution. At this moment in time, if you choose to stay with this kind of person or this kind of relationship, you have no one to blame but yourself. And I'm even talking about if this person is cheating, if they're DMing other girls, if they're treating you horrifically, they're speaking to you horrifically. You have no one to blame but yourself if you choose to stay. And I'm not saying that like you are to blame for their behavior. That's totally not what I'm saying. You know, like our behaviors are our responsibilities. But if you choose to stay, knowing what's happening and fully aware of what's happening and fully aware of how you feel in this relationship, again, whether it's like actually a toxic relationship or just a relationship out of, that's misaligned, you are the only one to blame for your unhappiness. So how long is this video now? Oh wow, it's almost a half hour. So I hope that this encouraged you. And again, I'm talking to the people that know. I'm not talking to my poor relationship anxiety and relationship OCD people. If you guys watch this to the end, come talk to me, because this isn't for you. But if you are one of those people, I really hope that this encouraged you and inspired you to not even just like leave, but I hope this lit something up inside of you to understand and come to the realization that you deserve so much more, and you deserve so much better, and you're worth so much more, and you get to decide that, not the person that you're with. So again, I really hope that this encourages you and this inspires you, and this video was birthed from those comments of like, well, what if he is cheating? What if the evidence is really bad? And what if this or what if that? And remember, you have no one to blame but yourself if you choose to stay. But you can do it. You're strong enough. Don't listen to the voices in your head saying that you'll never find anybody, or what if I'm alone, or what if this, or they're all I have. That's such bullshit. It's not true. and you are all you have, and you're all you'll ever have. And I'm not saying that you can't ever like rely on a partner or that you'll never have somebody like that. We can have that conversation in another video for my new healthy relationship people. But right now, all you have to worry about is you don't need that. And the voices in your head telling you that you're not strong enough, or you're not capable enough, or you're not pretty enough to have something better, or you're not smart enough to deserve something better, or you don't make enough money, or you don't have enough status, or you don't have enough of this, or you have too much of that. It's such bullshit. Don't listen to it. It's just your fears trying to make you stay where they are comfortable. But you got to break out of that comfort zone and create a new zone in your life that is filled with fulfillment and love and peace and happiness and worth and value and all of that reciprocated back to you. So I love you guys, and I'm gonna be making more of these more frequently for sure. It's so easy for me to just like make from my bedroom off this camera. So yeah, I love you, and I'll talk to you soon.